Welcome to the world of All Hallows Eve. My name is Daryl Davey, and I'm the creator of the game All Hallows Eve. Today, I'm going to be showing you how to set up the game and how to play through. In this game, you can choose one of two roles, either to be the chaperone, guiding around trick-or-treaters around the town, to go from door to door collecting candy pieces, or as one of the monsters inhabiting the world, trying to gobble up all the trick-or-treaters before they get their goal. If all the trick-or-treaters gather all the candy off the map, they win. If the monsters gather all the trick-or-treaters before they're able to meet their goal, they win. What's fun about this game is it relates back to all those leaf-strewn streets of childhood where you're able to go around and either remember the days of wondering if there's really monsters out in the bushes, or as you grow a bit older, you enjoy scaring the kids and you go around sneaking as a giant monster. So today, first thing we'll be talking about is the setup. This game expands with the more players you have, and you will start with at least one person being the chaperone. However you want to choose to do that, by draw of the card is fine with me, and then you will pick other monster players. The game will scale with the more that there are. Once you have decided who is playing what role, you will take turns picking map tiles. There will be 2 map tiles per trick-or-treater as per the scaling chart. You will find that in your rule book on page 2. But for shorthand, it's 2 tiles per monster in play. Today, I'll be showing you a game with 1 chaperone and 2 monster players. So you would pick 4 tiles. Turn goes where the chaperone picks the first tile and lays it down. As you're laying the tiles down, they just need to connect 2 road to road from one of the previous tiles. You can do this in however configuration you want. They are double-sided, so you have multiple ways to play the same game. Once you have those set out, the monster who ate candy last places their monster on the token or on the field. You'll take your monster token, and you will place it anywhere not on one of the road tiles on your map. Then you'll take your deck, your character card, give it a shuffle, and you can draw your 3 cards. The trick-or-treaters then will get a chance to place their pieces. You will pick your trick-or-treaters by one of 2 methods. You will either shuffle the trick-or-treater deck randomly and pick the top 4 cards of each. It is 4 trick-or-treaters per monster playing. So with 2 monsters today, we will be playing with 8 trick-or-treaters. Another way to do this is by following the pack dot on the side. Each of the trick-or-treaters will have a different colored dot on the side, and if the 4 match up, that's a quick way to make a team. So we'll be using that method today. Once you've picked your trick-or-treaters, you'll pick your corresponding trick-or-treater tokens, and you'll be placing those on the map. As you place them, they need to be at least 3 squares away from the front of any house. The front or the porch is indicated by a road square with a porch light on it. You'll see a large yellow beam going out. That's where the trick-or-treaters are trying to go. That's their end goal. If you don't want to count, or you want to speed up the process, you will take the trick-or-treater placement tile and you will place this on the front of any house where the light is showing. So you'll place her down on the front. This shows you an area where the trick-or-treaters cannot be placed. It's 3 squares away from anything. Typically, a good rule of thumb is any spot behind a house is usually safe for a trick-or-treater to be placed. Sometimes you will get a tile where this overlaps or goes into another tile. That's okay, but you still have to keep the trick-or-treaters out of those areas. So I'll place a few for an example here. We won't go into the full placement, but it's good to check. So that bee would fit there in this one, but as I go to place it here, we see that he cannot fit under there. So I just have to move him a little bit farther down the line. You do this until all of your trick-or-treaters are placed. Again, for right now, we'll just set them up as a random example. They can go on a road square or a yard square. The only place they are not allowed to go is on one of the house squares, the same as the monsters. After that's done, you can take this, pitch it. You're done with the annoying setup process on that. Then, again, according to the scaling chart, you will pick a number of your items. There will be candy pieces, items, and lights out. When they are placed face down on a map, these are considered doorbell tokens, and it will be referred to as such on the cards and in the map. You will go to the scaling chart, see how many of each item you need. In this case, since we're playing with 2 monsters, we will have 8 pieces of candy, so 1 piece of candy per trick-or-treater, 3 lights out, and 1 item. And you will also have your 4 tiles, your 2 monsters, and your 8 trick-or-treaters. Once you have sorted those out and you've gotten what you've needed, you take those, you put them in a pile, put them face down, so now they are considered doorbell tokens, and you shuffle them up so nobody knows what's underneath each one. Then, starting with the chaperone, each player gets to take one, look at it themselves, and place it on one of the house squares that doesn't have a piece of candy or a doorbell token on it already. So there's some strategy in this on where you want to put it. The chaperones may want to place candy nearer their trick-or-treaters. The monsters may want to throw that stuff off into the distance or closer to them. So as the turns are taking place, a monster looks at one, places a tile, the chaperone looks at one, places it, so on and so forth until all of the houses now have a doorbell token on them. At this point, the trick-or-treat or the chaperone should have their cards for each of their trick-or-treaters out in front of them, available for everyone to see. The monsters will have had their monster character card out in front of them, and will have shuffled and drawn 3 cards for their hand. Last but not least, the chaperone will take their candy card deck, shuffle it, and they get to start the game with 1 candy card in their hand at their disposal. That concludes our setup. We will go into how a turn works next. Thank you for joining.